Morning, guys. Obviously, I'm going to be carrying on from last time. Uh, obviously, we're continuing on the dissection of the languages that you would find in JavaScript. I'm going to be going on to chapter 2 of part 1 of the book. So if you guys can turn to page 40, that'll be much appreciated. Obviously, I'll be carrying on. So, programming is all about manipulating data, but what is data? Data is information that we store in our computer programs. For example, your name is a piece of data. Yeah, your name. And so is your age, the color of your hair, how many siblings you have, where you live, whether you're male or female. These things are all data. In JavaScript, there are three basic types of data: numbers, strings, and booleans. Numbers are used for representing, numbers. For example, your age can be represented as a number, and so can your height. Numbers in JavaScript pretty much look like this. So obviously, I'm going to be highlighting the part where I'm showing the example of what numbers look like. See, quick and easy. So after you're done putting in the code in the console for JavaScript, obviously you're going to put a semicolon just to indicate that you're done keying in the code that your code is complete. See here. So basically, strings are used to represent text. Your name can be represented as a string in JavaScript, as can your email address. Strings pretty much look like this. So as you can see here, it's colon, hi, a string, then another semicolon. And obviously to indicate that your code is finished, I'm highlighting this part so you can see. You're gonna put a semicolon, obviously. So just invert commas, then a semicolon. So Booleans are example of values that can be true or false. For example, a Boolean value about you would be whether you wear glasses, for example. Another could be whether you like broccoli. A Boolean looks like this. So it's gonna say true, and then obviously at the end a semicolon. So basically Booleans are basically a true or false value. There are different ways to work with each data type. For example, you can multiply two numbers, but you can't multiply two strings. With strings, you can ask for the first 5 characters though. With booleans, you can check to see whether the two values are both true. The following code example illustrates each of these possible operations. So 99 times 123. So the timesing values can be represented using a star, a hash, using a star. Obviously, this is the value that's going to represent that. So this is a long stride slice as an example. So you obviously put in inverted commas, 0, 4 inside two brackets, then a semicolon. Then obviously you can see the example that we're working with. All data in JavaScript is just a combination of these types of data, right? So numbers and operators. JavaScript lets you perform basic mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and addition. To make these calculations, you use symbol plus, minus, times using a star, and slash, which are called operators. Yeah. So you can see the JavaScript console just like in the calculator. We've already seen one example. Adding together 3 and 4. Let's try some things harder. What's 12, 345 plus 6, 789? Oh, I don't know. So as you can see, your answer's there. You can see your answers there. So obviously, you can see some other examples. So obviously you can add some multiple plus signs as well. So that had be 1, you can add 2. You can do the same thing for subtraction. Okay, use an asterisk for multiplication as well. So for multiplication, you're gonna use an asterisk, as you can see. And then for division, you can use a forward slash, right? You can also combine these simple operations to make things more complex like this. See this complex code? Yeah, that's what you do, right? So each operation in math, the rule is that multiplication division always takes place before addition subtraction. JavaScript follows this rule as well. See, we're going back to basic maths. So this is what you can key in your console. So if you want to go to your console, what you're going to do is, if you want to key in your console, this is what you're going to do. Right. And I'm just quickly going there. Right. So I'm quickly going to my console. So I'm gonna type in about, right, and then blank. Okay. Make sure you got a good internet connection because this actually needs internet. So I'm probably making you feel down because you in your mind you know you need internet. Come on, come on. Right. So right click, you can see the word. So right click on the word inspect. Then you go to your console. Wait. Right, so obviously, as you can see, you saw my calculations, the calculations that we're doing on page for you, the one that I highlighted just now. So obviously, after you're done, you press enter, and then you can see the answer 1597.25. Now, please mind you, the frequency of my mic might be a bit off, so you can see a bit of a relay of the frequency. You can hear that actually. So yeah, okay. Let's go back to the book. Let's go back. Okay. Right. So obviously figure 2.1 shows you this, right? If you also want to do the addition and subtraction first before doing the multiplication division, for example, say you have one brother and three sisters and 8 candies, and want to split the candies equally among your 4 siblings. You've already taken your share. You have to divide 8 by your number of siblings. Here's an attempt. So 8. So let me do this on the console. Right, let me hash this in on the console. Obviously, you can see this, right? Okay, do that, and wait, hold on a second. As you can see, That's not supposed to be the case. You can't give each sibling 11 candies when you've already only got 8. The problem is that JavaScript does division for addition. So it divides 8 by 1. I told the computers we're dumb, which equals 8. And then it adds 3 to that, giving you 11. To fix this, make JavaScript do the addition first. We can add parentheses as well. So we're going to do the same sum, except for that sum, we're going to add in parentheses. So we're going to add these brackets in, right? Right. Forget this one. Look at this one. So as you can see, adding the parentheses change your answer from 11 to 2, as you can see that. So that's what you need to do in order for you to obtain the right answer, because the first one was wrong. That looks more like I like it. You know what I mean? 2 candies to each of your siblings. Parentheses force JavaScript to add 1 and 3 before dividing 8 and 4. Okay. So yeah, that's what you do. So obviously, if you wanna keep up, just turn to page 44. Then obviously, this is an activity that you can do on your own. Let's say your friend's trying to use JavaScript to work out how many balloons he's trying to buy during a party, and everyone wants to have 2 balloons to blow up. There are originally 15 people coming, but then she invited 9 more. Tries the following code, but that isn't right. The problem is that multiplications happen before the addition. How would you add parentheses to make sure that JavaScript does the addition first? How many balloons does your friend really need? But obviously, that part you can do in your free time. You add parentheses where it needs to be added. So variables basically basically you can think of it as a box that you can fit one thing in. If you put something else in, the first thing goes away. Create a new one, use the keyword variable. So obviously you can abbreviate this word. Then obviously it's going to be followed by the name of the variable. A keyword is a word that has special meaning in JavaScript. In this case, when we type variable, JavaScript knows that we are about to enter the name of a new variable. For example, here's how you make a new variable. It's called neck. So a variable neck, right? So you're gonna go back to JavaScript, and then you're gonna type in the word neck. So obviously with me, I'm just gonna copy and paste just to cut down time. Variable neck, and then it's gonna read undefined, right? Bear in mind, we're still continuing. Create a new variable called neck, right? So the answer spits out undefined in response, but this isn't an error. It's just that JavaScript does whenever a command doesn't return a value, because this is just a just a variable. Right? It's not a value, so you need to add a value into that. Like to give this a value, use the equal sign, right? And use the equal sign. right? Okay, so the equal sign, right? So obviously you're gonna add another one just to give you a variable a value, right? Then it's gonna return give you undefined. So you obviously adding a value is called an assignment. We're assigning the variable 12 to the variable age. Again, undefined is printed because we're creating another new variable. The rest of my examples it won't be shown when the output is undefined. The variable age now in our interpreter and sets the value 12. That means that if you type age on its own, the interpreter will show you its value. So let's type in the interpreter. Okay, let's type it in now. So it's age. As you can see, automatically it goes directly to 12. As you can see, directly goes there. The value of the variable isn't set in stone though. They're called variables because they can value. If you want to update it, just use the equal sign again. For example, you do age, then you do the equal sign. Right, then it's going to give you 13 because it's not set in stone. This time I don't even need to use the barcode because the variable age already exists. You need to use variable only when you want to create a variable, not when you want to change the value of a variable. Notice also when you're not creating a new variable, the value 13 is returned from the assignment and print on the next line. This slightly is more of a complex example, but without the parentheses. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this. Okay. Do these strings. You don't need parentheses for these because you're gonna add you're adding that you obviously you're creating another variable. So yeah, this is what you do. The result that is gonna be 2. Right. Be careful with your variable names because it's easy to misspell them. Even if you just get the capitalization wrong. Right? So basically in this case you need to do camel casing in this case. So an example of camel casing, just to make sure that your variable is right, is this. So this is an example of camel casing. Have you seen on the camel the head is lowered down and then the hump comes into play, then the obviously goes back, you know what I mean, when you basically go back to the camel's back up to the hump. So this basically mimics the characteristics of the body shape of camel. So see number of candies, right? That's what you do, right? So incrementing and decrementing. As a programmer, you often need to increase or decrease the value of a variable, right? That's what you need to do. Need to So you need to do. For example, you might have variable that counts the number of high fives you see today. Each time some higher values you want to increase that variable by one. Increasing by one is called increment. Decreasing by one is called decrementing. You increment and decrement using the operators, two additions and two equal signs, right? No. Two negatives, like two minuses. That's what you're gonna do, right? Okay. When you use the operator, the values of high fives goes up by one, and when you use the negative operator goes down by one. You can also put these operators after the variable. This does the same thing, but the value that gets returned is a value before the increment or decrement. In this example, we set high fives to notes again. When you call high fives, the variables is incremented, but the value gets printed is the value before the increment happened. You can see the end of the two increments that if we ask for the value of high fives, we get 2. Right? You can try them out for yourselves in strings. So far, we've just been working with numbers, but let's look at another type of strings. Strings in JavaScript, as in most programming languages, are just sequences of characters, which can include letters, numbers, punctuation, and spaces. We just string between quotes so JavaScript knows where they start and end. For example, here's a classic hello world. Obviously, you add your inverted commas in semicolon. Obviously, in the string, just enter a double quotation mark followed by the text you want to string, and then close it with another quote, double quote though. You can also use semicolons, but to keep things simple, just use double quotes and obviously just keep things simple. You can save strings into variables just like numbers. Like for example here, you can do that, right? There's also nothing stopping you from assigning a string to a variable that's obviously contained a number previously, like this. Right? And obviously joining strings is obviously when you make a new string, the second string attached to the end of the first string like this. Then here we create two variables and assign each string a value. When you add these two strings together, strings are combined to make a new string hello neck. Right, that doesn't look right though. There should be a space between hello and neck, but JavaScript won't put a space there unless specifically tell it to by adding a space in one of the original strings. Right? Then finding the length of a string, to get the length of a string, just add that length to the end of it. This is a length, right? And then you can say variable Java equals Java.length. Java just say Java.length. Obviously, of course, it recognizes the value of your variable. So you just gotta say Java.length. Semicolon equals to 4. And then yeah. So I'm just going to be describing the 3 different types. Obviously, you can see the rest, right? You can see here for script, see that. Then you're gonna go to another section called Booleans. Now, for Booleans, a Boolean value simply a value that It's either true or false. For example, here's a simple Boolean value of JavaScript is cool, true. JavaScript is cool, true. Obviously, you didn't need to add the variable because the computer already recognizes the value for your variable. In this example, we create a new variable called JavaScript is cool. And so we value true to it. On the second line, we get the value of JavaScript is cool, so of course it's true. Logical operators, right? The first example, because we've got three, this is the first one, right? It's the first one. Basically means and. And means and. When reading aloud, people call it and, or ampersand. Ampersand is named the character in and. Use the and operator to Boolean values to see if they're both true. Before you go to school, you want to make sure that you've had a shower and you have your backpack. If both are true, you go to school. If one of them are false, you just leave them yet. You can't leave yet, obviously. So you do this. As you can see here, obviously as it had a shower and has a backpack. Obviously the value that it's going to return is false. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, one of your values, one of your variables is false as well. So this only works on two variables that are true. But obviously if you make it true, like for example, make it true, obviously it's going to return as true, right? Then you're going to do or Boolean operator, two slashes, but horizontally standing, not slanted like the ones we've done previously. It's called or. Can be pronounced or even or, but some people call it pipes. Programs called the slash horizontal slash character a pipe. There's an example of this, right? So example of this, right? Data types and variables. Obviously you can see here, that the data types and variables, you can see the or there. You can see or, right? So press enter. Wait, hold on, I'm supposed to add this value. Sorry. So we just say right, then it's gonna get returned as true. Yeah, forget about these errors. That was my fault, but let's focus on the last one that I keep in the last one that I've highlighted now. We focus on doing that. So obviously you had two variables. Obviously the computer recognizes that you have two variables, right? So by the time you just add the strings for the variables, it's just gonna have has apple or has orange in the JavaScript language, and then you press enter, then it's gonna return as true. Like it's gonna return as true because at the end of the day, the reason why it just returns as true because the variables because the answer for the variables are pretty much true, right? Because at the end of the day, for orange, it's gonna be false, which is true. If for apple, it's gonna be true because the answer for it is gonna be true, right? It's gonna be returned as true, yeah. And then for not, explanation mark just means not. You can call it not, but lots of people call it bank, right? So turn to right in your book. In your book, obviously, you run to page 59, you can see that just means not, but lots of people call it bank. Use to turn false into true or true into false. This is used for working with values that are opposite. For example, var is true and var needs shout they is, equals exclamation mark is weekend. Right? So obviously you want to see the execution of that example. Right? You need to see the execution in order for you to actually work. You don't need to see what I'm teaching you with, you just need to see the results of what I'm teaching you with, right? Right? So obviously you can see var is weekend, variable is weekend equals true, variable needs shout day equals exclamation mark is weekend, right? So obviously the exclamation mark basically nullifies the validity of the first variable. So I need shout day will equal false because the validity of the first variable has been nullified, right? Right? Okay. But in this example, we say the variable is weakened to true, then we say the variable needs shower to is weakened, the bank converts the value to its opposite. So if is weakened true, then obviously exclamation mark or the bank included is weakened is not true, it's false, right? So yeah, you can also combine logical operators, right? You can by you combining logical operators, right? This is where operators get interesting when you start combining them. For example, you say you should go to school if it's not the weekend and you've showered, you have an apple or you have an orange. You can check whether all of this is true with JavaScript, like this one, for example. Right? All of this is going to equal true, right? It's basically because basically this is combining logical operators. Then comparing numbers with booleans. Obviously, by using the greater than, right, you're gonna see I'm gonna add in a hash and another value, right? So obviously, what makes this significant to the rest is the greater than. Obviously, you've learned in school the crocodile method, whereas you take an arrow, then the arrow that the 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 arrow of the crocodile's the value that the arrow crocodile opens its mouth to is gonna be greater, right? So due to us writing booleans has to return an answer of true or false. So let's say for example your height is 65 and your height restriction is 60, right? Your height, obviously, if you want your answer to be true, the crocodile should open its mouth to height. Obviously, to make sure that it's true, hash it in, it's true. But if the crocodile's mouth opens itself to height restriction, obviously, if it opens its mouth there, that means the height restriction is greater than the height, which is actually false. You press enter, voila, false, right? But obviously, less than would be a process in which the first variable's value will be lower than the value of the height of the second variable, right? If the second variable has a greater value than the variable for height, obviously it's going to return as false. But you know why? Because the crocodile is opening its mouth to the first variable, thus saying theoretically that the first variable has a greater value than the second variable, which is false, obviously. And then you do the same thing, right? 50, except the crocodile's mouth opens wide to the second variable, and then trying to return as true, right? Another example is equal to. Find out if two numbers are exactly the same. Use the triple equal sign, which means equal to. Make sure when you're hashing in the equal sign, right? When you're hashing in the equal sign, make sure you do it 3 times. Make sure it's done 3 times, right? Be careful not to confuse three equals with a single equal sign, because 3 equals means are these two numbers equal, and equal means say the value of the right to the in the variable on the left. In other words, 3 equals are questionable. Just a single equal just assigns a value to the variable. Right? So For example, when you take my secret number, right, the value obviously for it's 5, then triple guess is 3. Then when you want to ask yourself, are these two equal? See my secret number, but then triple guess between those, you can do 3 equal signs, asking if they equal to each other. The answer will be false. Right, it's false because obviously these do not equal to each other. Right? Okay. And then double equals. Right, let's go back to the book. Right. Double equals, you probably think to yourself, seems much easier to use double equals than triple equals. And be very careful though, because double equals can be very confusing. For example, do you think 0 is equal to false? What about the string false? When you use double equals, 0 is equal to false, but the string false is not though. Obviously, if you want to see the execution of this method, I keyed in just now, and then I'll just key it in just now. Right. Okay. Right. So obviously, no say. Right. Obviously, with inclusion, of basically using the false inverted commas, it's going to return false. I've just spoke about. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean, right? Right. This is because when JavaScript tries to compare two values double equals, it first tries to make them the same type. In this case, convert the boolean into a number, right? So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. And until next time, take care and the Lord bless. Thank you.